Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I am JB, setting things up in the cage for, that's right, not one, but two exceptional pitchers, Chris Tillman and Zach Britton of the Orioles, both going the distance here in the cage, by the way. We're excited about that. Chris, Zach, thanks for being with us, man.
Thanks for having us.
So, fans, you know the drill. Get fired up, get your device going, get your laptop going, your tablet, whatever it may be. Get your FaceTime with these two tremendous pitchers. Meanwhile, use the hashtag Chatting Cage on Twitter. I'll read those. Or use the MLB Fans app to comment, and I'll read that comment, and that goes like this. This is from McKenna. It's for you, Chris. First off, Chris, you're the man. You're an amazing pitcher. How do you pitch like that? I'm really curious.
That's a good question. I think every day is different. I normally just try to trust Matty behind the plate. You know, he tells me what's good and what's bad, and the hitters will also let you know what's going on for you that day too. So kind of take it day by day and make an adjustment on the fly.
And there you go, McKenna. There's the insight to how he is the man and how he pitches so well. Just like that, folks. That's how the Chatting Cage works. The Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Or join us like this fan. What's your name? Where you're from? What's your question for these two guys?
Yeah, I'm Lucas. I'm from Oakland. So I'm an A's fan, but I like the Orioles a lot, and I like you two guys. So my question is, what are your favorite ballparks to play at, and why?
Favorite ballparks to play at? There's a bunch, excluding Camden Yards because I feel like we have probably the best stadium in the big leagues. But I like going to Seattle. I think something about the open air, the kind of the dome, but the open air in the back is really nice. The way it sets up in the city, it's probably one of my favorite places to go.
I'd have to agree with Zach. I think Seattle's probably one of the better ballparks to go to, better cities. A lot of our families travel to Seattle, so it's good to take that trip. A lot of our families like go out west and have fun.
Outstanding insight. Thank you, Lucas, for a great question. There you have it, folks. These guys like pitching in Seattle. What can you say? It's a great city to visit. Something you want to do. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That's Zach Britton and Chris Tillman of the Orioles, and that's a fan. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your question for these two?
I'm Matthew from New Jersey, and I want to know what is the hardest pitch you guys throw, but you still throw it since it's a really good pitch.
What do you got?
On any given day, they're all hard. For me, the pitch that took me the longest to learn was probably a changeup. It's such a feel pitch, and you gotta trust it and not stop throwing it even though it's not working. So for me, mine was definitely the changeup. Took me probably 4 years to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't have a changeup anymore, but that was definitely the hardest pitch for me to throw when I was starting. But I would say just every day, fastball command, that's the most important pitch for me. But obviously the command of it is something I still try to perfect.
Awesome. Thank you guys for that. Thank you, Matthew, for joining us here on the show. I go back to some social media, MLB Fans app. We'll go to this one. This one's from Denver Rocky. As pitchers, do you pitch more comfortably knowing that your batters can back you up with some offense? Let's go with Zach first on that one.
I think so. Tilly will give you the starting pitcher perspective, but I think definitely it takes a little bit of stress off you. If you can just keep our team close and our lineup's going to put up runs. I think we had a stretch of games where our lineup after the 6th, 7th inning put up 6 or 7 runs for 3 or 4 games in a row. So as long as we can do our jobs and keep them in the game, we know they're going to put up a bunch of runs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think as a starting pitcher, any time you could jump out front with the lead, I think it sets the starting pitcher up to kind of focus on making your pitches and not try to worry about results and throwing up zeros and trying to be a hero. You get to just go out there and try to execute a game plan, and I think it takes a lot of stress off the starting pitchers and the bullpen.
There you have it, folks, and there you have it for Denver Rocky, the thoughts from Zach and Chris on getting some offense. How about there on the mound? This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, hashtag Chatting Cage on Twitter. I'll read that there, or join us just like this fan. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your question?
Hi, I'm Joseph from New York, and my question is, who were your baseball idols growing up as a kid?
Great question. Hey, Chris, can you start us off?
Growing up, I grew up in Anaheim. I was a big Angels fan. Went to a lot of Angels games. I was at the World Series games. But my favorite player to watch growing up was probably Roger Clemens. I was always a big fan. I felt like every time I turned on the TV, he was on TV, and very sociable guy. And having a couple of conversations with him. Once you finally get here, it was like a dream come true. But I would say Roger Clemens was a guy that I looked up to as a kid and growing up playing baseball.
Zach?
So, yeah, for me, from a pitching standpoint, I like Tom Glavine. He was my favorite guy to watch. But I enjoyed hitting, too. So Fred McGriff was probably my favorite hitter to watch.
Come on.
I grew up in California, not too far from Tilly. But for some reason, every time I got a chance to watch him, I loved it. So Tom Glavine definitely was my favorite player. But if I got a chance to watch a hitter, Fred McGriff, for some reason when I was little, I enjoyed watching. I think it was the helicopter finish that he used to do when he hit home runs.
That's outstanding. Crime Dog getting some love here in the Edward Jones chatting cage.
Right.
Glavine and Clemens, the two guys that these guys looked up to. Thank you for that question. We go back to social media. I got two real quick ones for Zach. I'll just read this off chatting cage Twitter really quick. Be More Center says, love you, Zachary. So that's taken care of. Now let me go to a question.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
This is D. Payne wants to know, and this is for you specifically, Zach, who rocks the soul patch better, Tillman or J.J. Hardy?
Well, JJ's back over here, so I can see JJ's too. You know what? It's actually funny because I just brought this up to Tillman the other day after his start in Boston. I was watching some of the highlights, and every time he turned his face towards the camera, all I saw was just the soul patch. So I'm gonna go with Tilly. It's the only thing I could focus on the whole time. I'm gonna go. I mean, JJ's probably had it for longer, I would think, but he's more known for the sideburns, so I'm gonna have to give Tilly the up on the soul patch.
I like it. That's a tip of the soul patch to Chris Tillman,
right,
from Zach Britton. Great questions on social media. This is what we do, folks. This is the Edward Jones chatting cage. I'm JB. That's Zach Britton and Chris Tillman of the Orioles. And here's a fan with us. What is your name, sir? Where are you from? What's your question?
My name is Howard. I'm from Anaheim, California. I want to ask you guys, how does it feel when you guys have to meet up with Mike Trout?
When we have to face Mike Trout, was that the question?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's we the first couple times it was pretty surreal. The guy's as good as it gets now in the game, and I think he's a good hitter, and I feel like if he's on his game there, it's tough to get him out. You gotta pray he's gonna hit a ball right at one of your guys. Sometimes we give hitters too much credit and try and do too much, but we got a good defense. You got to let your defense work and try to get him put the ball in play early. You get him in a hitter's count, then he's probably going to do some damage.
Zach?
Yeah, for me, I just hope he doesn't come up when I pitch. That's really it. I kind of look in the eighth inning, and I kind of see the guys I probably can face and maybe the pinch hitters, and I'm just hoping I don't see the Trout in there. But when I do, like I said, pretty much everybody, I'm pretty aggressive with my fastball, but just hope he hits a ball at somebody and, try to keep him off base. He can do so many different things. Not only is he a good hitter, but he's a good base runner. So he gets on base and he can do some things too.
Great question there from an Angels fan talking about Mike Trout, one of the other greats, as these two great pitchers face off against him. Seeing the insights there. Zach primarily hopes that the rotation of the order just lines up just right.
Just avoid it.
Another fan. Oh, great way to deal with them is just not to get to the mound. Another fan with us. What's your name? Where are you from? What is your question?
Hey, my name's Zach. I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
You guys are both great. And my question is to Zach. Your stuff's so dominant. Is there a chance that you want to become a starting pitcher again?
It's always in the back of my mind. But I'm pretty comfortable in the role I'm doing right now. And the team hasn't really approached me about starting again. I don't know if that means they just don't want me to. But, I don't know. You never know, in a few years down the road, where you're going to go. But right now I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing.
There we go. Thanks for that question from Jersey. The EDJ question of the day is up next for the two Baltimore Orioles, playing great baseball in the AL East, working for one of the great managers in the game. Gentlemen, what's the funniest thing Buck has ever said to you on the mound? Chris Tillman, can you lead us in?
anytime he comes to the mound, it normally means I'm out of the game. So there's nothing real funny going on, to tell you the truth. I think one time I made a play where I caught a ball behind my back on a ground ball, I think the inning before. And he had made a funny joke about it because I'm not very good at doing PFPs. But other than that, most of the time when he's coming out, I'm done and I'm not in the best mood. So there's not a lot of whole funny things going on when I'm coming out of the game.
Fair enough. Zach?
Yeah, he's always got something for me when I come into the game. Most of the time I'm so locked in I don't even notice it. I feel like I just ignore him. But every now and then he'll say something. He'll have something up his sleeve that he wants to let you know. A lot of times he's not joking around. In all honesty, he just wants you to know, hey, if there's a guy on first, who do you have on a double play ball? Or I think during the playoffs, the one time he made a mound visit on me, he told me we were going to intentionally walk a guy and get a double play ball, and then he turned around and ran back to the dugout. So not a whole lot of joking from him, but definitely off the field, he's definitely one guy to joke around a lot and keep it loose.
Absolutely, one of the great dry humors in baseball. But a really important insight there from both these guys, that as much as people might think it's Bull Durham out there on the mound talking candlesticks, mostly it's people getting to work. Another fan joins us here in the cage. What's your name, where you're from, what's your question?
I'm Ben Hall from Baltimore, Maryland. I was wondering, who's your favorite teammate on the team?
Favorite teammate?
Should I say Chris, because he's here with me?
Probably might be a safe bet. Let's go for the second favorite.
No, me and Chris spend a lot of time together, always on the road. We always meet down, go to the stadium, get some time together. On the team, other than that, I mean, we're pretty close with a lot of guys. I think we've gotten to know Giovanni Gallardo really well now. We spent some time with him. Darren O'Day, a guy I spent a lot of time with. Pretty much everybody in the bullpen for me, I'm pretty close with now. We do a lot of things together.
I'm gonna go along the same lines as Zach. I think being a starting pitcher, we spend a lot of time together. All the starting pitchers kind of mingle in the dugout together during the game, and the bullpen kind of hangs out. So, I have to go with my starting the starting group of guys, the guys I'm probably the closest with.
All right. Thanks for those answers there. Great question from another fan again. And we're about to wrap things up. I was looking for one good, more social question. A lot of great responses here. A lot of people are huge fans, by the way. I don't have time to read all that. We'd be here all day. So let's go to this one. This is from I Hug Zombies. And they're getting in because that's just a great name. A question for both of you guys. Let's start with the starter. Let's start with Chris. What is something you do to get more control out of your pitches? And what are your tips for younger pitchers to that point?
I think one of the biggest keys for most pitchers is staying within yourself and not trying to do too much. I think as a pitcher, all of a sudden, like a good question earlier was when you have Mike Trout in the box, you try and do too much and try and make your stuff better or make a curveball break more or throw harder, and that's actually not going to help you at all. I think the more you're able to stay within yourself and focus on making a good pitch, I think the command and control will come along.
Absolutely.
Zach?
Yeah, for me, we actually have a trained tool down in the bullpen that I use. It's 2 poles and a string that goes over the plate. Allows me to kind of work on the command of my sinker. Allows me to visualize, where I want to start it, things like that. So that's been a big help. And then just keeping it simple, like Tillman says. I think the older you get, the more experience you get in the big leagues, the easier it is for you to kind of just hone in on one little thing that you need to do to maybe keep your line to home plate straighter and keep your command pretty sharp. When you're younger, I feel like there's so many different things that float around your head, and you feel like it's just everything's going crazy out there sometimes when you're struggling. But as we've gotten older, I think we've simplified a lot of things.
Great insights. Thank you guys for sharing that with our young fans as they want to know how pros get it done at that level. And boy, you can always work on the mental part. There's no extra cost for that.
Right.
Another fan joining us right here in the cage before we say goodbye. What's your name, where you're from, what's your question? These 2 great pitchers.
Hi, my name's Jeremy. I'm from Bethesda, Maryland. So, Zach, I was at the Nats game in 2011 when you got a double off Jason Marquis. So I was just wondering what you guys think of hitting. And, Zach, I know you're a .625 career hitter. So what do you guys think of hitting when you're in NL parks? And, Zach, if you miss it since you're a closer now. Thank you.
I think we enjoy hitting. I think it's we always joke around about it, and it's probably because they don't expect us to do anything with the bat. But it's a fun little part of the game that we don't get to do very much because we're in the American League. But we definitely have fun with it whenever we get the opportunity.
Chris, thoughts on hitting?
Thoughts on hitting? Love it. I really do. I enjoy it a lot. We could probably get to start hitting here tomorrow. I hope, Buck, if you're listening. But I'm not very good, to be honest. We try. We hit a lot of BP, but it's something that we don't get to do a whole lot. But I'm gonna get my hit this year.
There we have it. I want to thank Jeremy not just for the question, but for the specifics and noting that there was a double and a lifetime average for Zach as well.
And a homer. Right? You got a homer.
I got lucky, right? Beginner's luck is that what they call it? So I hope I don't get any more bats because otherwise my average is just coming down.
That's right. You know when you need to step away. That's important stuff.
Right, absolutely.
As you guys said, play within yourself. Very important.
Exactly.
Well, I know you guys got a lot going on today. We always appreciate the fans do for sure. Did you have a good time talking to the fans here at the Edward Jones Chatting Cage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Always a blast.
You guys are the best. Thank you for your time, and fans, as always, great questions. Thank you for making this show work. And we'll see you on the next round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage.